You feel empty because all you do is consume. That is why you are depressed. The last few months, I've been eating shit. Towards the end of my bulk, I kind of just sacrificed eating clean to just gain weight. And what happened was I ate shit. And what eating shit led to was consuming content, watching porn, relapsing on semen retention. And I felt really empty. And I decided that I was going to do a detox, a dopamine detox, fast myself from dopamine. And it pretty much solved my problems. But if you consume content, if you stimulate yourself constantly, your brain can't think. And what happens when your brain can't think? Well, you make bad decisions. You relapse. This is why you relapse. Because you have a cloudy head. Let's say your brain is clouded. You can't think clearly. There's no clarity in your head. You can't think clearly. Right now I have some brain fog, mainly because of school. A bit tired. I went to a concert last night. I went to watch or listen to the Wu-Tang Clan, and my sleep schedule is a little bit fucked up. But you'll find that after maybe a long day, maybe you had school, and you came back from school, and then you say, oh, I'm going to unwind, I'm going to relax and watch a bit of TV. What you'll find is you're probably more tired by watching TV and relaxing, than if you just kept working or you just chilled out properly, you read a book or went for a walk, or had a chat or a conversation with a loved one. You're probably going to feel, no, you definitely are going to feel more clouded, more clouded and be less kind of aware of what's going on. Your brain feels kind of numb. Right now, my brain feels a little bit numb. And the result of that is you miss out on things. You're not really present. If I watch a video or listen to content before I go to school, I'm not going to be as present. I'm not going to be as cheerful. It's going to be harder for me to get in a flow state. It's going to be harder for me to work. I'm not going to want to work. This is why when you listen to music, consume content, you feel quite shit. And then you look for more dopamine and more dopamine. And that leads you to watching porn or jerking off. But if you realize that you're wasting your life. Life is beautiful. Life is really beautiful. It's a nice sunny day today, and I might go for a walk. I might just simply do the gym, read a book, and write. I'm working on a book at the moment for semen retention. I might just write that in the sun. That is probably enough for me. I could go for a walk, but I'm not really too bothered. If I wasn't at school today, then I probably would go for a walk. But life is beautiful. I wouldn't consider going for a walk if I was watching content, watching TV. If I jerked off, I wouldn't want to go outside. And you're wasting your life by stimulating yourself because you're not seeing the beauty in things. You're not able to clearly process words, process things being said to you. You're not present. If someone's speaking to you, you don't know what they're saying. Right now, as I'm reading the points I have written down, it's taking me a little second to interpret them. Whereas if I had recorded this video this morning, it would be completely different. But why are you depressed? Okay, so you're watching YouTube, you're consuming content, you're eating a little bit of shit. But why is this making you depressed? Because you're not doing life. You're not living life. You're not living the life you want. you're living a dopaminergic, that's even a word, existence. Dopaminergic existence. It's probably not a word. Maybe look it up. But you're living your life based on dopamine highs. You're living your life based on relief and pleasure, rather than living your life based on fulfillment, enjoyment, deep conversations. If I, today, for example, I had a chat with a girl, one of my friends, and she was talking about this new guy she's dating and how happy she was. And I felt really happy. I was really, happy for her. And I was interested in her speaking. And I was asking her questions and being, my charismatic self. But had I jerked off the night before, had I watched TV before I spoke to her, I wouldn't be charismatic. I wouldn't be as happy. When I spoke to her, after I spoke to her, I felt happy myself. I made her feel happy and I made myself feel happy at the same time. And I feel really good about that. But that never would have happened had I had watched TV, eaten shit, watched porn. It wouldn't happen. The conversation wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't be in that state. I wouldn't be present. I wouldn't be in a good mood. It's just sucking the life out of you. It's as a man, it's your job to create and procreate and bring people together. I think having a good time is the main thing, is, enjoying your existence. I've really, over the last few months, been trying to really figure out exactly what it is I want in life. But if you're not living your life, you're not going to be happy. You're going to be depressed all the time. You're not going to want to interact with people. I think human interaction, is the main driver of human life. So, if you do healthy habits, like speaking to people, you'll be more fulfilled. If you instead, play video games, you talk to your friends on there, but it's not the same. It's not the same. Yeah, you can build relationships. I've seen that, guys I'd be very tight with, good friends with, after I quit playing video games, wasn't half as close to them. And they ended up forming new friendships online, at school now. They're best friends. But I'm more fulfilled by doing the healthy habits. If I record this video, do the gym, and write or record, or not record, but if I write or read a book instead of consuming content, I'd be more happy, more fulfilled. I have the urge to watch a television program. Maybe I will for 20 minutes. Then I'll continue on doing something else. But I won't be fulfilled by watching the TV just to stimulate my mind. But if you do healthy habits, so what are healthy habits? We said that healthy habits make you fulfilled, but what are healthy habits? Well, it's fitness. It's your body. Obviously, conversating with other people, but healthy habits are mainly things that benefit you. So working on your body is a big thing. If you work on yourself, your fitness, you're not a fat slob, running, or you can't even run. If you can't run or walk and you get out of breath after walking, something's wrong in your life. So you need a good body, because you're going to feel better about yourself. Everyone wants to look good, so why look shit? You're going to feel good about yourself if you do the gym, and you're going to meet other people. You don't have to be extremely passionate about the gym, but if you just do it for fitness, then sure. So check out the first link in the description, how to really look good, because if you do it on your own, you're never going to get the real good results. But do you know what to do, like, when it's not cloudy outside? Do you know what to do when it's a nice day? You know, you're always cooped up in your house or your apartment or whatever. You don't get outside. That's the problem with people now, is it's so isolated. You know, stimulation makes you depressed, but it also isolates you. You know, you have dating apps. I find now every in school especially, people who date never actually, you know, the guy didn't ask her out or speak to her first in person. It's on Snapchat, it's online. And it was evident with my brother last summer. I don't have Snapchat, I don't use Snapchat, I haven't used Snapchat since 2023 really. It's 2026 now. So about 2-3 years I haven't really used Snapchat at all. And when we were in Spain last summer, I found that I was in my element. I was able to just go up to any girl, very confident, was able to, you know, speak to girls. Whereas my brother wasn't. He could go up to a few girls, but he was like, how the fuck do you do it? Because I remember, you know, we went out with a few girls and we were all staying at the same kind of resort. We were with our parents. And I came down the next day, you know, I came down later than everyone else. And my parents, my brother were sat in like loungers, you know, sitting in the sun. And the two girls we were with the night before were pretty much across from us. And immediately I went over, started chatting to them, speaking to them, all this shit. And my brother was like, what the fuck? You know, he was like to my parents, like, how does he do it? Because my brother went down with my parents, maybe didn't even acknowledge them. He just sat down. And he knew they were there, but he wouldn't go over. That's the thing. You just don't build those skills. You don't build those things. And it makes me so depressed. Because, you know, I'm growing up in a environment where people don't want to socialize, and all I want to do is socialize. And it makes it very difficult to socialize with random people because, you know, there's other ways to socialize. You can just have your own little group and you can message. And if you want to meet new people, you can get Tinder or Instagram or Snapchat. It's just not great. I know I'd rather have grown up in a different time because then people think the same way. There's very few people that actually think the same way as me. And it really depresses me because it's the stimulation. People are so addicted to, you know, TikTok, Instagram Reels, Twitter, Reddit. There's probably more, but I can't think of anything else. They're so addicted to these things that they'd rather just sit there scrolling. Oh, he messaged me. You know, they'd rather do that than go outside, look at the birds, chirping. You know, see a hot girl walk by and then think, wait a second, she was quite hot, and go over to her and be like, hey, excuse me. You just don't get that anymore. It's very uncommon. If you go to poorer countries, it's more common, but it's just not how I want to live. I don't want to live in this overstimulated population. Okay, yeah, it's easier to speak to someone online, but why the fuck would you want to do that? What, you know, you're not going to kiss a girl online. Yeah, you could kiss the screen, but like, what the fuck? You know, you can't fuck a phone. Can't fuck a girl on a phone. Yeah, you can have phone sex, but that's just masturbating. So you're not developing these skills and you're not getting the same endorphins that you get from having a conversation. And it just sucks. You know, stimulation is the cause of this. It's people getting lazy. It's people just being stimulated. They'd rather sit there and scroll than go outside and speak to people, They want to plan things. If they're going outside, they just plan things. Recently, if I want to go out with my friends, I find myself wanting to plan things and do this and that. Just fucking go out. Boys are like, oh, what are we going to do though? I'm bored. I want to do something. Well, let's just go out and find out what happens. Wander around. Maybe meet a group of girls and go out. Next thing you know, they're jerking you off. It's like, it's made everything so complex and so isolated. It's just not great. It's just a shit feeling to always be on your phone. I barely spend any time on my phone. The most time I spend on this phone is recording fucking videos for you guys. That's it. So, how do you avoid being cloudy? How do you avoid the stimulation, the cycle of not being able to think? You're just constantly zoomed in. That's why, like I said before, you don't want to go outside. You're not motivated to do things. How do you avoid being cloudy? How do you get rid of this cloudedness? It's by detoxing. I said this before. I did a dopamine detox. You need to do the same thing. And not like once or twice. I mean, multiple times a month. You need to do a dopamine detox. And a good way of doing that is by just staring at a wall. Okay, you got a wall. Just stare at the wall for hours. Be bored. That's the aim. Reset the dopamine, because you're always constantly scrolling and watching things. Get bored. Get used to being bored and not having anything to do. And what will happen is you'll have a lot of energy built up that you can put into different things, but your brain will just be so clear. You'll have so much clarity by detoxing that you won't have cravings to constantly stimulate yourself. Once you start to stimulate yourself, then you will get the urges back. But the clarity is the main thing, because you're not depressed. You're not in that endless cycle of watching content, jerking off, eating shit. When you really bring yourself to baseline dopamine, when you really reset your brain, you are just at peace with the little things in life, like the nice day, looking out into the sky, hearing birds chirp, reading a book. Basic shit. You're just happy and grateful for it. You're more fulfilled by small things. And that is really important, because you're not going to be able to enjoy life if you're just constantly being a consumer and stimulating yourself. So, if you work on your purpose, do you think you'd be happy? If you worked on something that really fulfilled you, would you be happy? Yeah, of course. Because you're not... I hate when that happens. When you're like about to sneeze and you're like, am I going to sneeze? Who knows? But if you work on your purpose, what fulfills you, you're always going to be fulfilled. Always. Because it's in line with what you want to do. It's in line with what mentally you're passionate about. And if you're passionate about it and you're working on something, you're just going to be very fulfilled, very happy. But you can't do that when you always stimulate yourself. The contrast is, if you find your purpose, if you have a purpose and you work on it, you're going to be fulfilled and less interested in consuming. So find a purpose, and this means you're going to have to work on your mind and on your body. You're going to have to detox. You're going to have to get away from stimulation to find a purpose. You're going to have to work on your body as well. Your mind and your body are correlated. If you have a good body, you work on your body, you're naturally going to be more mindful. Doing the gym, sculpting a good physique, sculpting your body is going to build a certain mind that is able to attack the world, your purpose, and really just pummel in as many senses as you like. So go to the first link in the description, check out the course. If you want to look good, you don't want to be a fat slump, you also want to build a good mentality, get the course. I teach you everything you need to know, but I also teach you how to actually get there, how to actually have a good physique, how to go to the beach and feel confident in taking off your shirt. People looking at you like, whoa, look at that guy. If you want that, check out the first link in the description. If you're truly serious about it, you put everything you can into it, and that includes paying a small fee. If you're actually serious, if you're not serious, then don't bother even looking. And good luck. I hope this video was actually a bit of value to you. I don't really care if you subscribe or like, but check out some more videos and have a good day. Mwah.